Welcome to the September 25th edition of Colorado Inside Out Post Game, a special web exclusive production here on Channel 12. It's bound to be a humdinger today. We was supposed to have a good beginning, so this is going to be fun. Let's get a quick take on the Department of the Interior announcing this week that the greater sage grouse will not need protection from the Endangered Species Act. Credit was given to one of the largest conservation efforts in national history, including from many officials here in Colorado. Patty Calhoun from Westward, I know John Swartout has been singled out as one of the many people in Colorado that helped this large effort that seems to have a happy ending.
Well, it especially has a happy ending if you think about what happens when you are under federal guidelines, say, in Silverton, and you have a very large leak and the EPA's in charge. So in this case, rather than automatically having the federal designation come down, a lot of Western governors, and you have to credit Hickenlooper, especially when he was head of the Western Governors Association, they've worked hard for years with John Swartout leading the way to come up with a solution that would accommodate environmentalists, but also accommodate all the ranchers and farmers who already have enough trouble trying to make a living out there, so that they can work together and not be under a one-size-fits-all rule by the government. It's a win-win for Colorado, win-win for the ranchers, win-win for Hickenlooper, and presumably also a win-win for the sage grouse.
You sure like to think so. Craig Silverman, attorney with Silverman and Levis and a radio talk show host in KNUS. I know you've been chomping at the bit to discuss this issue, so I'm just going to let you go with it.
I studied sage grouse law at the University of Colorado School of Law. Really, I have nothing in the way of sage wisdom and zero to grouse about. And your friend, John Hickenlooper, he seems to have once again straddled the fence beautifully, because from the outside it was hard to tell which side is he on, the environmentalists or the other side. And Patty said he made everybody happy, so good for John Hickenlooper and good for the sage grouse. Do they even fly?
They do indeed fly. And we only had 2 bird puns in there, so that's pretty low for Craig's count. Penfield Tate, attorney now with QTAC Rock, and a longtime state lawmaker. Were you surprised that this big effort was able to hold back something like an endangered species designation that really would have brought a lot of federal regulation to a big part of the United States?
No, not surprised. And I think indirectly what this shows is that the Endangered Species Act worked. And what it did was, because people wanted to avoid the effect of having it applied to the sage grouse, they came up with some ways to make sure that wouldn't be necessary. So sometimes you see the act work to protect an endangered species until it is no longer endangered and is healthy. Here, it actually was used sort of proscriptively to create a situation where the protections are already in place, so the designation doesn't have to apply. I just applaud everyone. I also applaud the EPA for not going overboard and trying to apply the act anyway, in light of the efforts that everyone's undertaken to work collaboratively and get this protection in place. And I know, as Patty said, the grouse, I'm certain, is happy.
Natasha Gardner, senior editor of 52A Magazine. Could this big effort, I mean, when I say big, this is one of the largest in national history when it comes to conservation efforts, be a model for future ways to cooperate with all these different Western states on something this big?
Cooperation. It's such an amazing idea. Yes, I think it could be a model for that. I also hope it's not the only time or the last time that we talk about the sage grouse at this table. And here's why. They are an indicator species, which means that they are sort of an indication of what's going on in the ecosystem of the prairie. So, use the canary in the coal mine analogy here. They're the canary of the prairie, and they tell us how healthy our system is. So we need to keep on watching them and keep on counting them. And, depending on who you talk to, that number is either high or it's low. And as we know from studying water, if you set up a policy, say the Colorado contract based on a wet year, you might have some misinformation going on. So this is a topic that, yes, we had compromise, and that's great. And now we have to continue to watch it because it is an important indicator of what's happening in our beautiful Western landscape, and let's keep it that way.
That is all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out Postgame this week. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.